Hey Sugar Geeks, I'm Liz Merrick and I have a blog called The Sugar Geek Show where I do lots of complicated cake tutorials and easy ones and recipes. And ever since we've been going through the quarantine, I haven't had a lot of time to film things, and Avalon is literally just downstairs eating some food and watching some cartoons. So I was like, okay, what can I make in less than an hour and while I'm stuck at home? So I'm gonna be making Chewy M&M cookies, and I'm using Easter colored M&Ms because easy, right? But obviously if this was another part of the year, like Christmas, you could do Christmas M&Ms, you could do Halloween M&Ms. M&Ms come in so many different colors, so it's the perfect easy way to make a cookie and not have to do any complicated decorating. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is cream our butter and our sugar together. Room temperature butter, which means that you can poke your finger into it and it leaves an indentation, but it's not melted. I've got two kinds of sugar, a little bit of brown sugar and a little bit of white sugar. And while you're at it, you can go ahead and put the salt in there too. And creaming basically means we're taking the sugar, which is in this granulated form, and we're pushing it through the butter. And because the sugar is in this granulated form, every time it goes through that butter, it takes air with it and creates little air pockets. And those air pockets create lift. So that's kind of how our cookies and cakes and muffins, pretty much anything that has creamed butter and sugar, how it gets lift. If it was hard, then your sugar wouldn't be able to even penetrate the butter, and you would end up with something that's more of a biscuit texture. And we're using the paddle attachment because that's going to push the sugar through the butter without incorporating too much air, because if you were to incorporate too much air, it can cause your cookies to puff up a ton and then collapse. All right, so this has been just maybe 30 seconds or so, and I'm just gonna scrape the bowl. I'm just gonna keep going until this gets nice and fluffy. Okay, that's probably good. So once the sugar has gotten lighter in color and looks kind of fluffy and thick like this, now we can start adding in our eggs, which brings us to the second important tip for making sure that your cookies are nice and fluffy and chewy and not flat, is using room temperature eggs. When you use room temperature eggs, the eggs are able to incorporate into the butter and the sugar and make an emulsion. An emulsion is when you're trying to combine fat with water, which eggs is basically water and butter is fat. So when they're both the same temperature, they're able to combine together and make one. But when one is cold, it repels. So if the eggs are cold, it repels the fat. And then when they bake, they just separate and fall apart, which is another reason why cookies get really flat and sad. So room temperature eggs, I just put these in a bowl of hot water for 5 minutes. And then I also have an extra egg yolk in here, which is gonna make our cookies very chewy and delicious and a little bit extra moist. If you wanna read more about what makes cookies chewy, crispy, or crunchy, you can check out my chocolate chip cookie recipe. Scrape the bowl, make sure everything's getting incorporated. In KitchenAid mixers, everything tends to stick to the bowl, so scraping is good, unless you have the attachment that has the scraper. You don't have to mix for a super long time, just until everything's kind of incorporated. You can go ahead and add in your vanilla extract now. Like that. Just mix that together. Okay, so now I'm just gonna add in my flour and the baking powder and the soda, which is gonna make these cookies puff up a little bit, because I like my cookies a little bit puffier. Now to add in our M&Ms. That's a lot. If Avalon was here, she would definitely want to eat this. She is an M&M fiend. Make sure everything's all incorporated. I already have my oven preheated. All right, cookie scoop. So we're just gonna scoop our dough. We don't have to let it chill or anything. This is a number 20 cookie scoop, a broken number 20 cookie scoop, or you can use a tablespoon. So now I'm just gonna use this other spoon to kind of scoop that out. And this is nice and soft dough. We're just gonna put it right there. I'm gonna do 6 of these guys. One of the reasons why I never would make cookies previously is because I just hate letting the dough chill. It's like, who has time to wait 2 hours to eat their delicious dessert? I want to eat it now. Am I right? You could totally chill the dough. I just don't like have that patience. Okay, so now we're gonna take some of our M&Ms and we're just gonna put them on top, because as these cookies bake, they're gonna spread out and then those beautiful M&Ms will be on top. So if you ever see like cookies on Pinterest and you're just like, wow, those look really pretty, and then you make your cookies and you're like, huh, mine did not turn out as pretty, it's probably because you didn't take this step, which is the Pinterest step. Okay, so I'm gonna put these into the oven. I'm gonna set my timer for 5 minutes, rotate them, and then do another 5 minutes and see where we're at. While those are going, I'm gonna do my other batch. I have 3 extra M&Ms. I'm just gonna eat those. All right, I'm gonna turn my cookies around. Everything's looking great so far. Another 5 minutes. One of the keys to knowing when your cookies are done is making sure that you take them out of the oven right when the center of the cookie no longer looks shiny. That means it's baked through and it won't be doughy. If you bake it until it's brown, it's just gonna get crispier and crispier. And even if your cookies seem like really soft at first, they get chewier and firmer as they rest. All right, those are done. I'm gonna put the other ones in the oven. Another little trick, if you have a circle cutter like this, you can actually shape your cookies by going around in a circle. But you can kind of push the edges in and make perfectly round, Pinterest-worthy cookies. I learned this trick from Cloudy Kitchen on TikTok, and it works so good. Okay, so I'm gonna set these aside to cool down for about 5 minutes or so before you even want to transfer these to the wire rack so they don't, get damaged or whatever. Avalon, cookies are ready. Oh, what do you think?
These look cool.
Yeah, they're like little Easter M&M cookies. That looks tasty. Can I have a bite? That is good. That's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make lots of delicious food, spend time with your family, stay safe. Love you guys.